Hello everyone, and welcome to our video on the new moon in Taurus on the 19th of May 2023. Now this new moon happens at 11:53 a.m. here on the East Coast. I'm Emmeline Muldoon and I'm with Big Three Astrology, and I'm here again with Jim Dedicoli.
Hi.
For those of you that are new to either our channels or this is now going on Apple Podcasts as well, we get together twice a month to give you the astrology for the new moon and the full moon. So it's a good time to get together and look at the astrology and see what's going on. A good time to reflect on what's happening around us for those couple of weeks. And it also gives you the energy to work with. And what's really good about getting together on these new moons is we can show you where the new moon is falling for you and tell you how to use that energy to plant and grow the seeds, because new moon is a time of growth and opportunity, and we all have that somewhere in our charts each month. So we can look at this and tell you where it is and how it's best for you to work with it and use it. So this new moon actually falls at 28 degrees of Taurus. So get your charts out, have a look. Where is 28 degrees of Taurus for me? Because wherever it falls in your chart, that is the house, that is the area of growth for you. And obviously, we have a new moon in every sign each year. So this is that one chance a year to have that growth in that part of your life in that chart. So know where it is, get to know your chart, and use this new moon to enhance what you want to grow. And Taurus is all about growth. This is the new moon for that a lot of farmers and gardeners use to get things growing, to get the plants growing. Taurus is connected to nature, it's connected to the earth. So if you want to be getting stuff planted for your garden or for yourself, for plants, whatever it is, this new moon is a great time to sort of give those plants a good start, to plant them in the ground or to grow some seeds.
Yes.
So there's a lot going on with this new moon chart. We were just talking about this before we started recording. There's so many aspects going on. If you're watching this on the YouTube, you can see I've got the chart up and you can see all the aspects that's going on, but so much, and everything's on one side of the chart again, isn't it, Jim?
Yeah, we kind of had a little pattern on these new moons, haven't we, where we've everything's been lopsided, so to speak.
Yeah. Makes it very intense energy. And if you look, I can't believe that there's 6 planets in Taurus. See that, Jim?
Yes.
Now, when there's 3 or 4 planets, depending on who you ask, that means there's a stellium. When there are 3 or 4 planets in one sign, they'll go, oh, that's a stellium. That's a big concentration of energy in that one sign. Well, we've got 6 planets here in Taurus in this chart. So what do we think about when we think about the energy of this chart? We're thinking, putting down roots, making things stable, wanting to make things stable, thinking about how we can have security, what's tangible. This is very material and tangible, are very good Taurus words. What is secure to us? What's important? And then with the T-square in there, it might be ripping it apart a little bit.
Right.
So there might be some conflict with that, but there's so much energy there on the Taurus, having those 6 planets there, and they're all major planets as well. It's not like there's some fixed stars or so forth. They're all big players there in Taurus.
Yeah, and I like to, I'm always interested in the element and then which one chose the fixed mode to be in, and of course Earth chose the first sign of Taurus to be in that fixed mode where you have to be a little bit of everything, where you have to work and do your part, but you also have to step back and say, now how did I affect my environment by my effort, what I've done. Did I have a plan, so to speak? So a lot of that fixed thinking of, we need you to think about that fixed mode and what that means, because it's about applying yourself, but then also being aware enough to say, how is that affecting? My application affected this, how me affected the world, affected the environment, right? So you're considering that, and so there's a lot of stubbornness here, and with this opposition of Pluto and Mars, my goodness, do we have a huge time that we must face, where we've been a fool and where others have been fooled, and we're going to have to face this, and we're going to talk a lot about that today. So
yeah, I think when you look at this chart, the first thing that jumps out at you is that Mars opposite Pluto. Just seeing that, I think, is for me, is like the first thing that I looked at. Well, and you as well, wasn't it, Jim? Like, yeah, yes. There it is. There's that opposition. Now, I think I was making the joke before we started the call. If the ancients would have looked at this chart, what would they have said about Mars opposite Pluto? But obviously, they didn't know about Pluto. But it's very much a war aspect. It's that energy of battle, go into battle. So we might see that around us with this new moon energy of, well, do we want to start a battle? Is someone trying to start a battle with us? How do we deal with conflict?
Yes.
Confrontation, arguments in some way.
And Mars is trying to get into the sign of Leo, but it hadn't quite got there. So it's in late Cancer, and Moon rules Cancer, which is the past. And so it's kind of how the bill of goods that you bought or were sold, and then how you used your faculties to make that like reality. And then Pluto's sitting there in Aquarius, where it's like, well, there's a new frontier, and change is prevalent. It's always going to be in the environment, and where can we take us to a better place, more free, more on our own unique path. So in this opposition, you'll see that you're going to do an about face, and so will the world, because what's gone on and what you thought was going on is really being exposed to a level I've never in my life really noticed, with all that we've had up to this moon and now this moon. So we will be able to take this to a better place, but man, is this going to come undone, and this is the start of it, I think, big time. So, or the continuation to a very high level.
Yeah. And the thing about this, well, firstly, I just want to say, before I move on to the T-square, but Mars Pluto opposition, there is a higher energy. There is a higher energy level with that as well. It's very much determination, drive, passion to get the job done. So you might feel like you've got that added kick, that added energy drive as well. The enthusiasm that you never had before to try and get on with what you want to get on with.
Yeah. The will, that total will is now saying this can't go on, or we need to try to get this to go on. You're going to be on both sides of there. And remember, Pluto's the soul, and your soul is looking for the truth as it is, not as it's been told. And that's what we're undoing. So that the will and the soul are opposing, but it's going to help you and put you in positions where you're probably going to have to take some action. You're not going to be able to avoid this. And I've been living my whole life for these moments that we're in now, because I've always felt like the truth we've not been told the truth. And I think we're now finally here where now we got to face it. So.
Yeah. So, there's definitely some tension here. And this is, it does make a T-square. So this Mars, Pluto, Jupiter, they all come together and make a T-square. And what does Jupiter do? It makes it all bigger. It blows it all up. So we've already talking about tension, and Jupiter's there saying, yeah, you want tension, I'm gonna, make it even bigger. Yep. I'll show you tension. If it was just the Mars Pluto opposition alone, you'd think, oh, that's a lot. But Jupiter up there is now saying, yeah, I'll make it even bigger. So
yes,
it's whatever it is going to, you're not going to be able to miss it. not gonna be able to miss it. And it makes me think about as well ramping up some action. You know, like maybe in the Ukraine, or there's been talk about up in the offensive and stuff like that. With this type of aspect, this T square, which is tension, you know, it doesn't it wouldn't take a lot for that to happen, you know.
Right. And yeah, we're getting to the point where action's gonna be taken, right? So and then we got the node, which we talked about last video about
Yeah.
the
Yeah, the
north
node
node
is
is
in
also,
it.
yeah. And you know, the south node is the other thing to make this the grand cross that I was talking about. That's what
Oh
I forget.
yes.
Yours don't show it. Mine shows it on mine.
Yeah, that is true.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so the nodes are or the universe's way of going, listen, I'm going to bring you how this thing works, and now you know you're going to adjust because you're ready. You might not think you are, but you are, and that's what's going on. So
Yeah, that's a really
yeah,
good
mine
point.
does the south node, Emily, and that's what I was thinking. I'm thinking, no,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
so true. We were talking about this before we started. Yeah, so with the south node being down there, we've gone, you know, there's a T square, but there's also the grand cross in the chart as well, which, you know, is tension as well. And with the
well, and
nodes,
then
yeah,
go
sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, with the nodes being there in play, it makes it very powerful because we know it's something with the south node we need to release, we need to let go, and we're moving
Yes.
towards where we're going in some way as well with the north.
Yeah, and that was the point I wanted to throw in there. The South Node being in Scorpio, the sign that Pluto rules.
Mm.
Uh, that here's just the truth as it is. You might have several lifetimes been dealing and thinking and operating in a certain way, and now the universe is going. You're ready for that next stage of transformation or evolution, and here it's coming. You know, it's now here for you to go. Oh, I see that from a perspective that I've never been able to see before because you had all these lessons that were in line that you had to go through the steps. Now you're ready to take that next step to evolve in a way that's in line with nature because that's Taurus, right? So the opportunities here for us to totally get in line with how this really works versus maybe how we want to, you know, describe how it works or we want to try to convince people. No, now we're in the, you know, nature's got a way and we're in it. And that I think that's why I'm the most excited I've been in a long time in my life. So, and I want to throw this out, and I didn't say much to you, Emmeline, but
Mm.
I haven't been on for a little bit, but I've had some health issues. My vision's really it's just gone haywire here all of a sudden. And I'm honestly looking at this from the universal perspective of maybe I don't need to see things clearly. I need to know things clearly. And maybe that's why my vision's a little bit blurry because it's aggravating to try to focus and stuff, but my focus maybe needs to go internal. And that's what I'm working on. And you might find yourself doing the same thing or the opposite. So, you know, just look, don't fight this, go with it because man, we're really going to transform here. So
Oh, sorry to hear you've been dealing with that.
it's been a struggle. I mean,
I
it's
know
been,
you've had that over the last year. You've had some eye surgery or minor surgery, like little,
yeah,
yeah.
no fun. It's been no
No,
fun.
it's not nice. Oh, well,
Yeah.
I hope it gets better soon.
Well, thank you. So
Right. Okay. Yeah, so that the opposition, the ground cross, and the T square, all tension, tension, tension. And it's all in it's really saying what there really is a theme here of like destruction to bring us to where we want to go with that. So it might be that a part of your life just has to crumble away, and you've been trying with these eclipses. There's been a lot of change coming up anyway, and now you're recognizing it, and you think, well, I know that I need to make this change to get what I want, and I'm going to have the courage. I think that's the great thing about Pluto Mars is it would give you the courage to
absolutely,
do it.
absolutely,
Or maybe someone's provoking you. It's an opposition. Someone's
absolutely.
giving you that poke that makes you act for once. You know, it's like I've wanted to do it, haven't done it, and someone's maybe they've said something that isn't very kind, like, "Oh, you're never going to get that done, are you?" And now you're
Right.
motivated to show them that you're going to get it done. You know.
and it brought a fire from within you that
Yeah.
we all needed, and you needed it, right, to stand up for you. And so that's really the
Yeah.
potential here. And so that's why I love what we're looking at, even though we got all these glaringly supposedly difficult aspects. So
Yeah. But within these red lines, these crosses
the
and
red lines, yeah.
the red lines, we have it always makes you think of schoolwork, doesn't it? You know, your
Yeah, exactly.
teacher
You got a red
put the
line that's
red
wrong.
pen all over your
Yeah.
work or your hard work that you put in, and it was so soul destroyed and crushing. Um, but yeah, you know, then there's the blue. There's the blue pen. There's all the nice comments. Well done, good effort.
Yes. Great job. Yes.
Like the gold star comments with the blue pen. So
Right.
the blue stuff is the trines and the sextiles, and we have
Mhm.
that in this chart as well. We have plenty of them, so many of
Yeah.
them, and that's more of an easier, positive energy to draw into. So even though we have this huge, like you can't avoid that Mars Pluto, it's glaring you in the face, staring you in the face, but you do have these other aspects here that are really nice. Like Pluto is making a trine to the sun and the moon. Now I like that. I
Yes.
like Pluto making aspects to the sun, you know. I just think it's so inspiring. I always call probably said it to you before, Pluto sun is like an alchemist. You know,
Mhm.
you're putting in that energy and using it and molding it the way that you want almost.
And I'll just add to it is, because the sun and moon are together. So where you're trying to go and where you've been is in conjunction with where your soul journey is. So huge opportunities for you to, build a better future, right? From the Taurus perspective, but then you got to look at, the truth. So you're probably going to have to eat a little bit of crow. Don't fight that. Go ahead and eat it and say, how can I become more? And that's really the mantra my family's been living by is, hey, you know what? I don't like this right now, or this is frustrating, but this is taking me somewhere better. And I hate to be a pie in the sky guy at times, because I'm not mostly, but it's about trusting that you've done the work and you got to this place where the evolution can be tremendous if you back off and don't be so hard on yourself and go, no, I got to trust I've done everything I've needed up to now, and now I can take this in advance for today and the future as well, and get off of some of these cyclical things that have cost me to in my soul journey to have to keep repeating and get off that, because repetition can be done, and I'm talking forever in some of these manners that you've dealt with, and in this life and past. So
Did you say eat the crow?
eat crow, yeah.
Eat crow. I've never heard that.
Eat crow is where you have to admit that you were wrong, I guess, because I guess
Eat.
crow's not good to eat. Yeah, so sorry.
No, I was just like, I want to hear that. I want to make sure I
Yeah,
heard it right. Eat crow. You're
yeah,
gonna eat. Well, I like that.
yeah.
It's funny. We had a whole conversation about birds before we started.
Yes, we did. Isn't that funny?
Eat a crow. Crow pie. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. So you learn something new every day.
Yeah, we all need to, so that's for sure.
Yeah, so I like that the alchemy of Pluto Sun. I think that we can direct the energy to a positive place here because we have the power to use it. People that have Pluto Sun in their chart are very good at being a salesman or being able to help inspire people, being able to influence energy. But with Pluto, you've got to do it for the right reasons. You can't just be doing it for you. You can't be selfish. There's a huge karma attached to it. We have to be doing the best for everyone here with this new moon.
People get aggravated with me that I read charts for, because I have heavy Pluto in my charts, very heavy. And I'm so always considering karma. Like if I say this and this affects them, I got to be careful they don't do how I say it, what I say. I got to put it out just enough to where they can grab it and put their own energy to it. And Emily, you do a great job with that as well. We're heavily invested in the karmic side because of all of our past of what we've done, and we see how we can affect each other, and you don't want to like be somebody else's answer person or answer energy. You want to just help them and then let them experience it, what they need, and so
Yeah.
that's what this one's all about, is about us all figuring that out. So
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of ethics involved with
very much
astrology.
so.
So when you start doing astrology consultations, you have to pull into that. And luckily, I had some training in ethics when I was a lawyer, so I can sort of
I was
pull
going to
back
say,
on.
I think
Yeah,
your career in the legal industry helped you with that.
yeah. Believe it or not, lawyers are trained in ethics.
Yeah.
Contrary to what you might think.
Well, I think some of them abused that, but you did not. I can promise you that. So
No,
yeah.
no. So yeah, so you've always got to be, and I've had that myself when I had one of my first astrology consultations. It's you don't want an astrologer said something to me, and I was very shocked, and they could see I wasn't ready.
Yep.
So they kind of backtracked a little, and then obviously eventually that happened, what they were talking about.
Yep.
And then I look back now and I see, yeah, that was some ethics there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be doing too much that's going to sort of influence someone in a reading. The idea is to I'm digressing. The idea is to
Oh,
empower, not to, influence.
well, and if we all live by that motto, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
this world would be the place it's supposed to be. But some
Yeah,
people try to control when we get to that area of in our
yeah,
interaction, in our communicating. So
yeah. Right. So yeah, I like the positive trine with Pluto Sun. My husband Michael has a Pluto Sun conjunction, so I see it in play. I can see how it works. I
mhm.
see it on a day-to-day basis,
Yes,
and
you
I
do.
know
If he's yeah.
I know it can have good positive aspects to it. So, that's nice. And then we also have that Mars Neptune trine in the chart. That's really nice as well because, yeah, there is a very much here. This is a spiritual connection. Mars, Neptune. You can think about using your energy here in a spiritual way. Tai Chi, Feng Shui, getting the energy flowing around your home, putting into your spiritual beliefs, putting into your intuition, even taking a
Yeah.
quiet moment and reflecting or meditating might be helpful. I don't know if you've heard of this, but Michael is a Pisces moon. So obviously he likes his time to hatch, go away quietly, release all the energy that he's picked up all day.
Yeah.
And he's done this thing. We've got our walk-in closet that we've just renovated and made it nicer, decorated it, and we've put like a little like a little buffet ottoman chair in there, and he'll shut the door in there because it's quite a big space in there, and he'll sit in there and he will literally have the light off and just decompress for a minute. And he's it's for me, Gemini moon, not really
Yeah,
happening,
that's
but
not going to happen, right?
not really
Right.
don't want to sit there and decompress and forget, my mind's buzzing all the time. But apparently it's a therapy now where you can go into a dark room. People pay money to have these dark rooms and find we've got one in our closet, but you can find a dark space, just sit in your bedroom, turn off the lights, shut the blinds or the curtains, and it's very therapeutic. And I think my point is with this new moon chart, with that Mars trine in Neptune, we can pull in to our energy if we connect and let ourselves connect. So maybe someone like me, it might be beneficial to do that this new moon because I don't usually switch off. So
Right. Right.
might be good, to do that. Take a moment, connect, feel your way forwards, instead of you trying to use your mind, try and just sense. Yeah, senses are very heightened with that Mars connection.
Yeah. And I think some insight, right? You think of Mars as being the pioneer. You might get
Mm.
some insights that maybe won't make sense, but jot them down because you'll make sense of them later. So if you get some nice insight here, jot it down. Don't worry about trying to figure it out. I know with the Pisces and Neptune, you want to try to say, oh, what does that mean? Where are we going?
Yeah.
And it can be elusive, but don't worry about that. Just jot it down, and you'll get pieces, or you'll get more answers as this continues to unfold. As we continue to evolve and transform. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So that's another nice trine that we have there. We all
mhm.
uh We also have quite a few sextiles in the chart as well, and they're really lovely. I think the Neptune's sextile in the sun. Nice. Again, your imagination is, you know, you can pull into that imagination and make it's very dreamy, very creative. So people that have a strong Neptune sun can be great storytellers, visionaries. So pulling into that energy in this with this chart is really nice as well. It's very helpful. It's sort of letting you get lost in the daydream of creating something beautiful, artistic.
And I like to look at the other side of that, where how have you been maybe deceived, right? Because Neptune can carry that. I think that maybe you'll see things from a perspective that maybe you haven't. And you'll look at that, go, that's interesting. And so that is to me just as positive, where I get those aha moments. And I think this sextile will do that and bring that potential here for you to then build a better life in this physical plane. So I love this sextile and the opportunities that it provides from your perspective. And then I just gave the opposite side of that, where maybe you imprisoned yourself by a way of looking, seeing, understanding, and that you're able to break a little bit more free of that.
Yeah, so that's very nice. And also it's, making a sextile to the moon, of course, because they're conjunct, so it's our feelings and our emotions are easily connecting to it as well, so it's all flowing beautifully there. Another great sextile we have here is this is saying as Mars and Uranus, but they're 10 degrees apart, so that's a very, very loose one.
It's
But that
very,
is
yeah,
that's the information that's coming up, or exciting news that we have that maybe spurs us into action. So it is a little bit of a shake up energy, but again, that's very loose. And then the last one we have is Pluto Neptune sextile.
yeah. I think that goes along with what we talked about a bit a second ago, so this is the soul, and this is because Neptune rules all your past Neptune and Pisces, and your soul rules all of your life. So where you're trying to go and everything is as well. So that's also an interesting perspective or aspect that we'll have as we deal with what's going on. There's a lot of aha moments, and I don't want you to be frustrated and mad. I think that's going to be a little bit of a waste of this energy of this new moon of seed planting for a better, more stable, more prosperous. Because I do think Taurus is that. I would love for you to look at those and don't be afraid to admit that you were wrong, or to look at things from a perspective that's going to take you to a whole nother realm. I think that's the potential here, that if you do, my goodness, will you evolve? So.
And the other thing to think about with this new moon chart is we have Jupiter just dipped into Taurus.
Yep.
Fresh. Actually, it's doing that today. We're filming this on the 16th of May, and it's moving into Taurus today, which is very exciting because it's given you that flavor. It's going to stay there until next May. We've got a whole year of Jupiter in Taurus, and that's expansion of those Taurian things, the material, nature, connection, food. I think food's going to become interesting during this next year. But also, it's thinking about growing wealth, growing the things that are of comfort to us, that make us secure. So that this chart is very fertile with that Taurian Jupiter energy as well.
Yeah, and that the last time 12 years ago, June of 2011.
2011.
Yeah.
June 2012.
Yeah. So go back to then and think about what you were doing, what happened. So
I looked that up the other day.
Consistent. What's that?
I looked it up the other day because I realized that 12 years ago, that's when I met Michael. So I met him on a Jupiter Taurus time. So I was like, oh, I looked up the date. So I knew off the top of my head. Yeah, June 2011, June 2012 was last time Jupiter was in Taurus. So you can think back to that time.
Yep.
What were you doing then?
Jupiter's real consistent in its cycle too. It's because it's in the middle of our universe. It's pretty much on that 12-year cycle. So you can basically take Jupiter and go back 12 each time it changes signs and see what was going on. And you'll get likenesses in your life. It's just a matter of you to wake up and say, hey, where was my expansion? What did I do? How did I handle it? So
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about astrology, life cycles. We can start to see how cycles, transits, etc. repeat.
yep.
We can use them and grow with them and use them for the best.
Mm-hmm.
So the last thing I wanted to say was about the Jupiter meeting up with the North Node, which I'm very excited about. That actually happens on the 28th of May. So we're building up to that. Now that happens every 12 years. So amongst all this, we've got this new moon chart that we've been talking about and all these changes. We do know that in a week and a half's time, Jupiter and the North Node are coming together to give us, like I said, happens every 12 years. So this is an exciting one to give us a positive boost, an expansion into our future, into what we want to grow for the long term. So I really like the fact that we're building towards that with this new moon chart. We can have that in the back of our minds that lucky day is coming up.
Yeah. And I'm just going to add that Pluto's squaring the nodes as Jupiter does this. So, just face the truth for what it is from a perspective that you consider deep within you, and then learn some new facts, or maybe there'll be old facts that have been misinterpreted or miscommunicated to us about the physical world. I think that's your opportunity soon. So.
Yep. That square's hanging out all summer, isn't it?
It's not, yeah, it's all month and all summer. Yes.
Pluto with square in the node. So
yep.
Yeah, we should do a whole video on that.
We really probably should, because it's going to be such a, I mean, when we look back, once we get to July, which you and I have been talking about, you'll see this thing will really has changed. And you might say initially that's what this whole moon's about. That might not look like it's for the better, but I'm telling you right now, it's coming for the better. But we got to clean up the mess that we created or that exists, whether we created it or not, before we can move and truly move forward to where we truly belong. And that's where we're at. So we're cleaning up a mess. So
yeah. So I think I've covered everything I wanted to say. Is there anything else that you
we covered almost everything. I felt like I think we hit the topics I wanted. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think we did well. So
don't get caught in the moment here, right? I think that's what me and you're trying to say. And this is a huge evolutionary point. So just don't get trapped here with an event, or don't let something get you too sideways. Say, wait a minute, I'm where I need to be, and you'll get the answer you need when you need it most. So get ready for that.
yeah, it's we're living in interesting times, as they say. As they say. So it was lovely to see you all again. Stay tuned for the next one. We'll get together obviously and next week and do the full moon that's coming up. So until next time, everyone, have a lovely full moon. Enjoy that growth. Enjoy that Taurus energy.
Yeah.
And we'll
thank
see you all.
as always. So
yeah, thanks, Jim.
Take care.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.